Good evening and thank you for staying with us right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Esther Onwachuku and this is World News. First up, here are the top stories. Customs begins implementation of zero tax on imported pharmaceutical inputs. In another development, police probe senators over alleged Russian spies invasion of National Assembly. Governor Adeleke orders establishment of holding camps for displaced victims. Youth destroy APC secretariat over alleged imposition of consensus chairmanship candidate. Natasha Kwote apologizes to Abi Ezakwesili over clash with Nwaboy. CJN Kekereku laments rising level of unethical conduct amongst Nigerian lawyers. And reports indicates Fubara erroneously implicated in security issues. Details now. Thank you for staying with us. The Nigerian Customs Service has commenced implementation of zero tariffs, excise duties, and value-added tax on imported pharmaceutical inputs for 2 years. VP News gathered that the latest development follows President Bola Tinubu's approval. In a statement today, Customs said the implementation commenced after President Tinubu directed comprehensive guidelines for the exemption of import duty and value-added tax on critical raw materials used in manufacturing pharmaceutical products. Also, in another development, the Nigerian police force is facing challenges in its investigation into an alleged infiltration of the National Assembly by Russia's former security agency, the KGB, committed Gutsudnai. Now, according to concerns which has emerged that the petition that triggered the probe may have been abandoned or is not being fully pursued. However, the investigation was initiated following a petition filed by Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, PDP Kogi Central, on the 5th of March 2025. In the petition, Akpoti-Uduaghan called on the police to investigate claims made by Senator Sunday Karimi, APC Kogi West, regarding the KGB's alleged infiltration of the legislature, which he argued poses a significant threat to Nigeria's democracy. Senator Karimi had reportedly shared a document titled KGB Agent Group 1 Senate, a call for vigilance amidst threats to democracy on the official WhatsApp group of the 10th Senate on February 23, 2025. Akpoti-Uduaghan's petition urged authorities to take the matter seriously, asserting that no nation could afford to ignore the presence of such a group within its legislative body. Following the petition, Senator Karimi was invited by police investigators and appeared at the Louis Added Police Headquarters on Monday. A senior police source described the session as positive, with useful disclosures confirming that Karimi admitted to posting the message. However, there has been concerns over Akpoti-Uduaghan's failure to appear before investigators to provide further details about her petition. Although the police initially believed Akpoti-Uduaghan might be out of the country, a viral video showing her visiting her constituency in Nigeria contradicted that assumption. Now, in a very recent development, the Nigerian government has finally begun the disbursement of the newly approved 77,000 monthly allowance for National Youth Service Corps members, which ended months of uncertainty and frustration. Well, the several corps members had received credit alerts reflecting the increased stipend, marking the resolution of the long-standing delay. VP News understands that this decision comes just days after the Minister of Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, assured Nigerians in an interview via a Monitor television program that a backlog of payments will be cleared by the end of March. For months, the disbursement of the new allowance had been stalled, with the government citing budgetary constraints and bureaucratic delays. In his interview on Monday, Olawande attempted to clarify the reasons behind the delay, stating, and I quote, "I have explained this several times. Some people say I always mention it's a process, and it is seriously a process. It was not in the budget when the president announced it. Some agencies and parastatals need to have their salaries included in the budget before anything can be done or paid out." The minister emphasized that while President Bola Tinubu had approved the allowance months ago, the disbursement was contingent on the inclusion of budgetary allocations which had not been in place at the time of the announcement. Aguara local government area of Niger State today when angry youth stormed the All Progressives Congress secretariat, destroying property matters of the alleged imposition of the incumbent chairman Ilyasu Zakari as the consensus chairmanship candidate for the upcoming local government elections. According to eyewitnesses who spoke with correspondents, the youth expressed their frustration with the process, claiming that under Zakari's leadership, the local government had not seen any meaningful progress. They declared they were not ready to accept his candidacy for a second term. As the APC consensus exercise unfolds, the youth grew increasingly agitated, chanting Banaso, which translates "we do not agree." In a dramatic turn of events, the youth pulled down the iron rods that held the roof of the APC secretariat, causing the roof to collapse. Speaking anonymously, one of the protesting youth stated this is implication of attempting to impose a consensus candidate on us. The damage to the APC secretariat occurred in full view of police operatives who were present but did not intervene during the destruction. The incident has raised questions about the rule of law and the role of law enforcement agencies in maintaining order during political protest. The police operatives present were criticized for not taking action to prevent the destruction, further fueling anger amongst the protesters. Meanwhile, in Niger State, it saw its first female local government consensus candidate emerge from Munya local government area, Fatima Usman, who secured the APC consensus ticket, which marks a significant step forward for women in local politics in the state. And still on the world news at 6, however, in this very recent development, Natasha Akpoti, the controversial senator, has eventually apologized to Abe Ezakwesili. Well, she apologized to the former Minister of Education over her clash with a senator representing Ebonyi North, Onyekachi Nwebonyi. Ezakwesili and Nwebonyi clashed on Tuesday at the hearing of the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions on a fresh petition from Akpoti Udwagan against Senate President Godswill Akpabio. The Kogi lawmaker has repeatedly accused Akpabio of intimidating, maligning, and sexually harassing her. On Tuesday, Ezakwesili joined Abiola Akiode, counsel for Akpoti Udwagan, and the petitioner Zubairu Yakubu at the Senate committee hearing witness in the case. In that particular situation, the development occurred where these individuals, Nwebonyi, who appears as a witness of Akpabio, repeatedly interrupted the former minister during the hearing. Ezakwesili then asked the Senate Deputy Chief Whip to compose himself and stop making noise and said, "Please, will you shut up?" Following the comments, Nwebonyi lashed out at the former minister, which thereafter caused the imbroglio between the senator and the former education minister, Obi Ezekwesili. Meanwhile, Justice Kekere Okun, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, on Wednesday took a critical look into the practice of law in the country and lamented the downturn in adherence to ethical principles in the legal profession. She noted with regret that strict adherence to ethical principles in the legal profession was not only dwindling but facing serious challenges. The CJN spoke at the public presentation of the report of the directions of the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee held at the Body of Benches complex in Abuja. She said it is instructive to note that the Body of Benches, as the apex institution of the legal profession in Nigeria, is uniquely positioned to lead the charge in this regard. The responsibility of upholding legal profession sanctity rests heavily on its shoulders, and there is no doubt that the body will continue to rise to the occasion. Meanwhile, a report by the Coalition of Human Rights Monitoring Group has noted that Governor Sim Fubara of Rivers State was erroneously implicated in security issues that led to the declaration of a state of emergency in the state. You recall that the president in a nationwide broadcast on Tuesday night declared a state of emergency in Rivers State. Justifying the decision, the president said he was greatly disturbed about the political crisis in the state and accused Governor Sim of demolishing the State House of Assembly. Well, Fubara and his deputy Ngozi Odu and all elected members of the Rivers State House of Assembly were suspended for an initial period of 6 months, while the president has come under fire from several quarters, with many Nigerians questioning the legality and propriety of the decision. Meanwhile, the Coalition of Human Rights Monitoring Group, in a report on the crisis in Rivers State, said Fubara has no links to the militant groups responsible for pipeline vandalism and security breaches in the state, as was alleged by the president. The report, which was unveiled at a press conference in Abuja today, described claims that Fubara has ties to militant groups as politically motivated fabrications designed to destabilize his administration. The Coalition of Human Rights Monitoring Group said its investigation showed no evidence of financial transactions or operational links between the state government and known militant factors. Right now, it's time for us to head into a news analysis segment where obviously I have joining me via the telephone Barrister Fred Nzako, who is a political, national, and social affairs commentator. Barrister Fred, good evening and thank you for joining me today on the World News at 6.
Good evening. Good to be with you.
It's good to be with you, Barrister Fred Nzako. You've been so busy lately. However, I sincerely do appreciate you making time for us this evening on the World News. Barrister Fred, let's start off with this particular situation where there are allegations that there are Russian spies, the KGB, who are in the National Assembly. The person who actually brought out that story or that report was the suspended Kogi State Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, obviously with her counterpart from Kogi West, Senator Karimi. Well, investigations have commenced as to the fact that there is a Russian intelligence agency implanted within the National Assembly. In that regard, however, the police have begun investigations. Senator Karimi disclosed that indeed he was asked questions, but that Senator Natasha Akpoti has not come in for questioning. They actually had asked her to appear for questioning concerning what they consider is the Russian spy in the National Assembly invading the proceedings of the National Assembly. How do you react to this development?
Certain things, honestly, especially things that have to do, issues that have to do with national security,
okay,
should be handled with seriousness, with a lot of caution, and with respect for the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of Nigeria as a country.
Okay.
It is not everything that should be thrown into the garbage of politics. If there are some Russian spies in National Assembly, one expects that anybody who is privy to such information or to such knowledge should, as matter of patriotism and demand for citizenship, inform the appropriate security agencies. And of course, if that is coming from Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, one can say yes, that it is coming from a source that should not be swept under the carpet. For two reasons. One, Natasha mother, I understand, is from Ukraine.
Yes.
Two, Natasha is a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria who swore to an oath to uphold the Constitution of Nigeria and help to defend our territorial integrity, at least at the level of the parliament. And if eventually she has such information at her disposal, one naturally expects that she should get in touch with security agencies and give them such information as privately as possible, because it has to do with security. Things that have to do with security are not thrown open in the marketplace. And if eventually, I do not know where she made such statement.
Okay.
If the statement was made in the marketplace, and what do I mean by marketplace? In the public that should ordinarily not be concerned with that.
All right.
Then one should advise her to be more circumspect in releasing such information to Nigerian security operatives.
All right.
If eventually, because our mother is from Ukraine, and of course you know that Ukraine and Russia are at war presently, and if she makes such a statement, that is one of the major reasons why the statement should be taken very seriously, so that the security agencies will be able to separate the wheat from the chaff and defend the interests of Nigeria to the best of their ability.
Barrister, I want you to take a very quick listen to this. This is Asari Dokubo. He is worried that the Nigerian government wants to set him up after helping them in Old Imo State, Iyala, and currently in Anambra State as well, in assisting to clear out some persons that the federal government considered to be terrorists, specifically the ESN operatives or IPOB. I want you to just listen to this and then we'll go on from there. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll get that very soon because we're having some interruptions. In that particular situation, Asari Dokubo claimed that the Nigerian government is trying to implicate him in a security breach. Asari Dokubo said that he has assisted the Nigerian military in in supporting them and helping them to rout out persons he considered to be miscreants in the southeast, particularly in Ihiala and in Imo states. This is not the first time Asari Dokubo is admitting to partnering with the Nigerian military in this kind of situation as in helping them rout out those they consider to be some IPOB members who they alleged say are the ones causing the insecurity in the southeast. And now, because of the current state of emergency declared in Rivers State, he has not been in support of the president's declaration. He has not been found within the quarters of the presidency since all this happened. He has not been consulted. He is alleging that they want to implicate him in the killings that took place in the southeast by his men. Obviously, he said that he was contracted, and this contract started off from the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. So he's now saying that they eventually want to set him up. How do you react to this?
And sometimes I am at a wondering, I'm at a loss how to react to statements made by Asari Dokubo because of the manifest inconsistencies in his statement. It recall that Asari Dokubo said that the Nigerian government hired him to go and keep watch over that Abuja Kaduna Expressway.
Yes.
That he was the one that apprehended the thieves there, and that where the soldiers ran away, his men stepped in. And that where the Nigerian army and Nigerian military could not secure Abuja Kaduna Expressway, that his men secured the expressway. It became a topic that the people of the military chief said that he was talking bad about. That they don't know what they were talking about. Now, the same as has, in a manner of speaking, turned around to say that he helped government to rout out the so-called miscreants in the southeast. If Asari's statement is as a result of his discontent with the state of emergency, was he bringing the southeast into it?
Exactly.
It's unfortunate that the southeast has become a whipping zone. That anybody who now wants to shine, or who wants to flex, or who wants to show off, will jump on top of the southeast and begin to flex. Southeast has no business with whatever Asari is saying. For a very long time, we had a state of unknown gunmen that even the federal agencies would not name. That men who were gunning down people and causing massive insecurity in the land were described as unknown for a very long time.
Barrister Fred.
And we say that we will hold federal government accountable for that because all the security agencies are accountable to the federal government. And some people went to the extent, some people of IPOB extraction, they even accused Asari Dokubo as being the head of unknown gunmen.
Exactly.
That it was his men that were causing the problem in the southeast, and that was the opinion of the people from IPOB and some people who were sympathetic to IPOB. And that is why I say that I do not know which is correct, but all I know is that if there is any problem of state of emergency that anybody does not like, the person should take it to the appropriate quarters and leave the southeast alone.
Barrister, I want you to listen to him because I've been able to see the audio where he was on his platform on Facebook calling out the Nigerian government for wanting to implicate him based on a partnership they had in assisting the federal government. Let's take a listen to him, please.
Before he left, and then this night, there was this shooting so that they can set me up. See, I've been working from the time of General Buhari in saving life, restoring hope to those who have lost hope. go and ask for our work in Imo, or our work now in Anambra, in Iyala, Namechi. You saw the number of dead, uncountable number of dead bodies, skeleton and skulls. How we arrested those people, put them off in coordinated operation with the Nigerian military, with the Nigerian police. And it's so sad that we do all this work. You saw the trailers, you saw the bone, the skulls, hundreds of skulls. You saw the road that had been planted by improvised explosive of Bunigwe. And we risk our life in digging them out. Go to Baga, go to Mangoro, go to Kotagora, go to Wasi, and see what our men are doing for Nigeria and saving lives. One man, one individual had become bigger than everything. We have been saying it, and the country had been handed over to him. He has captured the judiciary. He has captured the presidency. He has captured the security infrastructure of the Nigerian state. He has even captured a chunk of public opinion. The Supreme Court will give judgment on issues that are not before her.
So, Barrister Fred Nzako, I really needed you to hear that from the horse's mouth. So the question now is, you have admitted that you collaborated with the Nigerian military in doing what you did in the Southeast, and you are now saying that they want to implicate you in whatever ordeal. Does it mean that whatever ordeal he and his men got into were completely illegitimate? How would you describe that he's accusing the federal government for wanting to implicate him in whatever transpired in the areas he mentioned? Secondly, how does that corroborate with one man taking over the judiciary, the legislature, the executive, and even wanting to take over the chunk of public opinion?
Those are in the words of Asari Dokubo. If I start from the last, he didn't mention who that one man is.
Yes.
So I do not want to join him to conjecture because I do not know what he has.
That's why I asked. I said, how does it relate with his earlier confessions?
If he mentioned who that one man is, then we would have been able to situate it appropriately and offer reasonable suggestion. Now we know that Asari Dokubo is a civilian. We know that he is not the head of any military formation in Nigeria. And if he claims that he has done all this work and that he has collaborated with the military and he has achieved so much, in all honesty, it is only the military that should respond to him. I, Fred Nzako, I am not competent to give such a response because I am not neither a security operative nor a civilian military man. Or how do I describe it? I'm not a non-state actor. Neither am I a security operative. So if his words really mean anything, then the military should offer a response. And when they offer the response, then we'll now be able to juxtapose the statement and the response and be able to offer our commentary. As for now, I have no comment.
All right, Barrister Fred Nzako, from the last statement, I think he was referring to the FCT minister because that's what he has been saying all this while. He has been calling him out. Well, but however, if that's a scenario, there is a whole lot of situation that we need to be told, that needs to be detailed to Nigerians. If there are illegalities taking place, then certain persons should be held responsible for such illegalities.
That is what you think. Now, if you are thinking, what did he say? He said one man. He should be courageous enough to mention that one man so that we'll be able to position it appropriately. Your thinking may be right, it may be wrong, except if he confided in you. Did he?
Well, in his previous broadcasts, in his previous interviews, he has mentioned the FCT minister's name, and it has always been in the same phrase.
Every issue stands on its own. The same man went to the villa, and during the electoral era, he praised the president to high heavens. He later went to the villa, and the same man later started showing his support, according to him, that Mr. President has forgotten who supported him, all coming from the same mouth. So I think it will be unstable and non-conformist for anybody to think what Asari thinks, because his own thinking is full of pre-verifications and moves like a pendulum. So until he says it, then we now know what he actually said.
All right, Barrister Friday Nzako, thank you so much for taking your time and giving us your insight into some of the stories we roll out on the World News at 6. We sincerely do appreciate your input.
Many thanks.
Thank you very much. To wrap up the World News at 6, here again are the top stories. Customs begins implementation of zero tax on imported pharmaceutical products. You also heard us during the World News at 6, where we said that police probe senators over alleged Russian spy invasion of National Assembly. In a very recent development as well, the federal government has begun payment of new 77,000 NYSC allowance. Also, youth destroy APC secretariat over alleged imposition of consensus chairmanship. Natasha Akpoti apologizes to RB Ezakwesili. Chief Justice of Nigeria laments rising level of unethical conduct amongst Nigerian lawyers. And that's a wrap on the World News at 6. My name is Esther Wachiku. Just stay with us for the evening rush at 7 o'clock.